there another one? Okay, anyways, I'm Jonas, Emily's brother, and then I guess you're Emily's friends. I guess I'll introduce myself first, and then you guys can start yours. So I'm 19 years old. I'm a freshman at undergraduate program at Columbia University in New York. And then I'm mainly a visual art major, but they do core classes, which is like their general education stuff, which every undergrad has to take. So my first semester I have to take Lit-Hum and Universal Writing. So Universal Writing, I used to not like writing at all. Like honestly, it's just like essay, right? We hate essays. But then this class at Columbia actually makes me want to write more, and then actually makes me want to write more, because I used to write under 1K. Usually that's around my writing range workout. But then after this class, I started writing like over 3K words on a research essay, on an opinion editorial, like scholarly conversation throughout the essays. So and then they introduced a very interesting method. I think it's very useful in our future writings. So I would like to share that with you guys. So I basically, my universal writing, that course, it's like a small group session course, like 10 people, and then we all each write our own essays. And then it's like with 3 big essays to write, essay 1, essay 2, essay 3. And then every class we have PPTs and kind of like stuff like that. And it's all on Canvas. There's like files. So I basically took the first P1 essay for you guys to do. So I'm gonna like basically introduce what we're gonna do this 5 days. First of all, writing is important for your college essays, for all your classes. It's like an essential tool for you guys. You guys know MLA formatting, right? Like the basic MLA, yeah. And then citations, yeah, Sonny. Okay, you guys know how to do a little bit of research, like just search on the Google, like the topic stuff. Yeah, do research. Good. So anyways, this class is more about trying to write a long essay, trying to write something in a different format from the traditional ways of essay writing. And then this can actually help with your college applications, your like little UC essays, your other essays. Hi, Sophia.
Hello.
Can you open your camera? Hey, so we're just talking about how I'm just introducing myself. I'm Jonas. I'm 19, and then I'm an undergrad freshman at Columbia University in the city of New York. And then I took a universal writing course, which is one of my courses I took for all requirement freshmen. And that writing class really inspired me and really encouraged me to write more. And I would like to share that with you guys. So basically, we're talking about how this class can be helpful to your future classes in high school and in your other classes, and also help with your college essay writings. So let's start with the basic format for this class. Today, we're just gonna basically introduce ourselves and start brainstorming ideas. So basically, after 5 days, after our class ended, all 3 of you guys gonna write 1K for its research paper. Yep, I'm assigning you guys homeworks to do, so expect doing that. And then each day we have different materials, different goals to do. Today is pre-writing and drafting, pre-writing and brainstorming that idea. So today is the most chill day. You guys basically think more than write, research more than write, and then like learn more than write. So today we're gonna basically talk about how we brainstorm, how we come up with the idea, how we actually come up with the idea that's actually useful and can be turned into a very compelling and readerly based essay. So first of all, I introduce myself. Now you guys, all three of you, introduce what's your grade? 7th grade, I assume. And then how's your writing experience? And then how many words have you write, like the most word you have write for an essay? I assume under 1K. And then what is your familiarity with MLA format, researching? And have you write research essays before? Do you know how to do MLA citations? Basically, I just want to know your level on this so I can adjust the course according to you guys' level, okay? We'll start with Sunny.
I vote to be second.
You want to be second? Okay, sure. How about Kevin? You're the man. Let's go.
Hello. Hopefully most of you know who I am, and like for essay writing, I think I'm currently working on like a research essay for like school that has a maximum word count of 2,000.
2,000, nice.
Yeah, and I have some experience dealing with like researching. Like I have to research for the essay. I have to write a bibliography.
Nice. And what else?
How
are you familiar with the formatting stuff?
Yeah, I've written like a few essays with MLA.
Citations wise, all
yeah.
Good. Okay, then I don't have to worry much about you. Okay, Sunny, you go.
All right. I am Sunny. I'm in 8th grade. We just write like a short essay. Like we have to research about a person, and then we have to use the MLA citation format like that. Which the teacher required was like 500 words, and I write like 1,000.
And it's always hard to cut down words.
Yeah, and everything is useful. And then I'm pretty familiar.
Like precise.
Huh?
Yeah. You guys just gotta be more precise, concise.
I'm pretty familiar with like how to research stuff. Yeah.
Good. Sophia.
My name is Sophia. I'm in 7th grade, and I just wrote literary essay for midterms, and it was like 1,200 words. But then I didn't really write a lot of research stuff.
Okay, I see you guys. I'll level up to 2K now. 2K for you guys. So challenge yourself a little bit. Kevin, if you feel too low, you can go for 2,500. That's your max. Okay. And then I guess I'll teach you guys a little bit on how to do scholarly research, not just regular Google research, more like how to find a scholar and actually cite from that scholar and summarize, paraphrase from that, and then engage in that scholarly conversation. We'll talk about that later. Anyways, today I'll show you guys some PPT, and we're gonna do a close reading on one of the essays I like, so you guys can I'll get an idea how much level your reading skill is, reading analysis, stuff like that. So I'll share my screen on a little PPT we had in Columbia. It's basically a class PPT. I'm just literally downloading that file and showing you guys. There'll be some adjustment to it. I'll change some of it. Mom, can you let me share screen? You have to change the setting on that. Okay, just one moment, guys. So we started like 5 minutes late, so we'll definitely extend 5 minutes later today for sure. Okay, I'm able to share screen. There you go. So this basically, we're introducing what we're doing. So we're writing a scholarly essay. What is scholars? Any of you guys know what a scholar is? Kevin? Sophia? What's a scholar?
Isn't it like a specialist in some sort of study?
Exactly. Gotta be like a very well-known or like well-researched kind of guy. And then knowledgeable ignorance and scholarly problems. How do scholars write their big essays? We're trying to write like scholars, right? Like how do scholars start with their researching essays? Do you think they start with like they know what they want to write about and then start writing about that stuff? Do you think that's how they write? How do like writers choose what to write about? How? What do you think?
I think they start with like a hook, something like that, like
Start
to
with the
get
hunt?
people's attention.
They start with the hook? But what I'm talking about more, yes, that would a introduction, definitely a hook. But what about what is the main idea? Like brainstorming phase. How do they choose that idea? What do you think? Do you think they know what they want to write about and start building that idea, building the essay upon the idea? Do you think that's how that works? Now? I see some nodding. Yeah, okay. It's not what you think. It's not what you think it is. They start with the problem. So the whole point of our researching essay is about solving problems. We start as writers not knowing what this essay is going to lead us to. So we're basically guiding and learning and researching with this essay. If we like know what we're gonna talk about, what we know about, then it's basically like informative essays, right? But we're doing researching essay, which is discussing and developing an idea and trying to figure out ourselves too. Like, I don't know about this. I want to do some research on this. That's why I write an essay about this. So researchers start with the problem that needs resolving. And then it's like a readerly based essay. You lead the research to your essays and slowly you guys find a final conclusion on what your stand is. You finally at the end, you have your own claim on your own stand, your own opinion on how this topic is going to be about. So what is knowledgeable ignorance? Can someone read it for me? The definition. Come on. Sunny? Oh, are you muted? Are you muted, Sunny? You guys all have your turns. This one, Sunny's. Okay, go, Sunny. Just read the definition. What?
Key term, knowledgeable ignorance. Definition, the idea that not knowing an answer is a great place to write for. That we should identify what it is we don't know and want to understand.
Exactly. Yes. That's basically what I'm talking about. knowledgeable ignorance is basically wanting the reader to engage with the writer. Kevin, read this.
Knowledgeable ignorance asks us to resist setting our first ideas. Yes. It allows us to stay in a place where we can use our curiosity to discover layers of complexity. After all, if a writer merely offers their first thoughts about an issue, it is quite likely that those same first thoughts have already occurred to a reader as well.
So we don't want to write about the same thing. We don't want to write everyone wants to write about. Everyone knows that. What we want to write about is something unique, something that's developed upon other ideas. Most importantly, it's developed upon scholarly ideas. That's how our scholarly conversation is based. So knowledgeable ignorance is basically like a adventure as a writer. It's not about knowing all the answers, but to actually ask real deep questions that can lead to the answers that you think that's going to work. It's, in a way, it's being smart by asking questions, but not knowing, but more about asking the right questions. So as we start brainstorming our research essays, I'm going to assign you stuff to do. But as we start thinking about this, we don't think of it as too much pressure. Today is not much pressure. You just think of it as a low-stake process. Anything you want to write about, anything that you find that's a problem, you want to research more about. Like for my essay, I'm an artist, I'm a visual art major, so I want to research more about the recent vandalization of the Van Gogh painting and the Just Stop Oil organization, their protest activist art, and how does what is the value of art in modern society? Seems like human rights, civil rights, political stuff, even environmental environment change is more important than just like some paintings in a museum, right? So what is the value of art in modern times? That's basically what I want to research about. That's how I write my essay upon that. So right now, you guys can start brainstorming some ideas you want to write about, like anything that you're interested, find like it's a problem that you want to research more. It's like very fun activity. Like it's not like I'm forcing you to on a prompt, giving you a prompt, anything. You give yourself the prompt. You write about what you want to write about. Okay. So anything you're interested in. It can be as fun and entertainment like the games you play, maybe Genshin Impact, anything. And like research on how does Genshin Impact work? How, like, why is it so popular? Researching why is it so popular? Like going through the data, see if any scholars write about Genshin Impact. Yeah. So it's like really fun. Like anything you want to write about, make it that you're passionate about. So while you're writing and researching, you actually find things that you want to know, you want to learn. Okay. Anyways, before writing, think of this as just like free writing, jot down some ideas, like basically it's like a thought process. It's never polished, and it's more about finishing and more about outlining, and then you can like just text whatever you want to do. And then basically that's it about today. That's it about the homework. I'm gonna give it to you guys, and then we're gonna do the readings later. But right now, I would like for you guys to like just to share some ideas you have right now. Like what you're gonna write about for this 5-day kind of course. What do you want to write about for this 2K essay? Yeah. You guys have any ideas? Who wants to go first? Anything you want to write about? Anything. You can change later. You don't have to settle on this. Just like brainstorming this. Yeah, Sunny, yeah.
Why does video game music help you study?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that. I like that.
I
There's
was
gonna be a lot. Yeah. What did you say?
I was going to search on Google, why does people want to play video games, but this popped up.
You want to write about this? Yeah, good.
Maybe.
This have many little angles. We're gonna talk about how music affect brains. There's a lot of scholarly essays about music and brain activity, music and how to make you more focused, anything like that. And there's also scholarly essays on how video games changed throughout the history, how the music, the theme, the score of the music, the score of the video game, how that affect the player experience, anything like that. I think it's gonna be a fun, also very useful or helpful like essay to research about. That's good, so good start. Anyone else? Kevin, Sophia? Anything you want to write about? You just like think about anything and draw down some ideas. Anything like games, sports. Why does my mom cook so many food? Or why just keep asking questions. You guys have any? Oh, you have another one. Okay, Sunny, go.
Why does siblings cannot get each other along peacefully? That's what I want to know.
I think a lot of people did an essay on that, so you can base a
Why?
lot of scholarly problems. Yes, it's basically like family relationships and then like environment or personality studies. You can study history of there's gonna be a lot of scholarly essays on the psychology of younger generations, younger siblings, how like teenagers work with each other. It's maybe research on how evolution changes that throughout our human civilization, stuff like that, how family environments impact what we do as siblings, stuff like that. Okay, Kevin, what do you think? What are you thinking?
How does color affect human psychology and emotions?
How does color affect our emotions and yeah? That's good. That's good. You can take multiple angles on that. You can go for an artistic angle, like how artists see color and how does artists paint their emotions, right? Basically, beyond asking that question, we have to find an exhibit to focus on. So we need an exhibit and scholarly conversations. We're gonna talk about that next class more, but right now just keep in mind while you're trying to find your scholarly problem, you need to focus that based on a specific exhibit. So for example, my essay, the value of art in modern society. What is the value of art? Does art has value in modern society? And I base my exhibit upon the 2022-2023 activist protests. They trying to throw the I think the tomato soup upon the Van Gogh painting, you know, the sunflower. Yeah, you guys read about that. Like they try to vandalize it, and then there's like multiple incidents from that organization, Just Stop Oil. They trying to vandalize it. They saying art has no value when the earth is dying, right? That's their argument. So I'm trying to dive deep on how to do that. So your exhibit, which is my sunflower case, is like your starting point, and you start from that, to your own conclusion. We're going to talk about the structure later, but mainly you need exhibit and a scholarly conversation, which is your scholarly sources. So basically your essay is like, you start with the problem, you're asking question, and then you start with the exhibit. Exhibit kind of contribute to how you're thinking, how this essay is gonna like plan out. Basically it foreshadows. And then you can some way come back to that exhibit and come back to the exhibit and then try to make a full turnaround. But then that's based on how you want to write about it. There's no specific structure to write about this essay. Mainly, it's a readerly based experience. What is a readerly based experience? Anyone know? No? Sophia? You know? Try to guess. What is readerly based? Reader based experience. Readerly based essay. Yeah, Sunny?
I think it might be. It's not like what the author think about. It's really like what does a reader think? I don't know.
It's more like guiding the reader. You see, it's not about how you want to present your essay. It's how you're guiding your reader through your thinking. It's basically allowing your reader to come into your shoes, and then they're writing as you're writing. So you give them like questions, you give them signposting. We're gonna talk about all that technique later. But basically, it's like a whole experience at the end. You and the reader connect, and the reader, and you're gonna raise the stake for the reader. So for the scholarly problems, today we're doing a scholarly problem, and then trying to brainstorm what kind of idea we're gonna talk about. So Kevin got the color stuff. So now if you set about your problem, you need to find an exhibit. That's for the homework. Yeah, find an exhibit. Start like brainstorming. If you want to brainstorm more ideas, more problems, for sure, fine. But I'm just talking about you need to base an exhibit upon that problem. Just like what I gave for my example about the sunflower. Okay, Sophia, you go. Let us hear about your problem.
How pollution affects sea turtles?
Sea turtles. Oh, that's cute. You care very much about sea turtles?
They're cute.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, we're gonna, this is gonna be a lot of essays and research upon that. So I'm sure you're gonna find a lot of research around sea turtles, like how they grow, and then what are the distinctions between the regular sea turtles and polluted sea turtles, how does that actually work, and how do other scholars write about this issue, and how do we actually, if you want to change, or do you think it's actually a problem? Is it actually a problem, or it's a problem that we can solve easily? Anyways, find a exhibit that you can base your essay on and start researching on this scholarly problem. So just take your free time, like whenever you want. It's like stuff you're interested about, so it should be a bit less mundane or less stressful to research about this. Okay, now we're gonna work on a short reading passage, just to, like, get your reading skills working, get your little reading mind working on this. Okay, just a second. So I'm gonna let you guys read like a way, the way people write about this kind of essay. So okay, basically like an example. Yeah, basically I gave you guys an example how other people write about this kind of stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you like share screen or something like that?
Oh, not yet. I'm still trying to open that file.
Okay.
Yeah, just a second. Okay, now I can share my screen. So this is like an excerpt from Han, which is the author. She's Asian American, and then it's in one of her book, famous book. She's on Time magazine, so she's a very famous writer. And then this is basically one interesting chapter. I'm not gonna tell you what she's trying to say. You're gonna try to guess as you read, but we're gonna start reading this. Anyways, let's go as turns. Sunny first, Kevin, and Sophia. We start reading this like a paragraph as a paragraph. Okay, go, Sunny.
My depression began with an imaginary tic. For an hour, I stared at the mirror, waiting for my eyelid to flutter or the corner of my mouth to tingle.
Okay, my depressions begin with an imaginary tic. Why is it imaginary, huh? Why? First of all, we just start asking questions. What's going on? We want to know. Okay, Kevin, next.
Do you see my tic? I asked my husband. No. Do you see my tic now? I asked my husband. No. Do you see my tic now? I asked my husband. No.
Ah, so much emotions. I like it. Good job, Kevin. It's basically like a repetition. Why is it keep repeating? What's going on? Why is she keep asking her husband, what do you see my tic? What is this tic that she's trying to see? What is this imaginary tic that she's trying to make her husband to see? Is he annoyed? Why is her depression about the tic? Okay, more questions. Sophia.
In my in my early 20s, I used to have an actual tic in my right eyelid that spread so that my right facial muscles contracted my eye into an occasional pop eye squint. I found out I had a rare neuromuscular condition called hemifacial spasm, triggered by two cranial nerves behind my ear that became twisted. In 2004, when I was 26 years old, a doctor in Pittsburgh corrected my spasms by inserting a tiny sponge to separate the two entwined nerves.
So much context. Now we know that she actually has a tic before. But why? Why this time is an imaginary tic? Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, Sunny.
Now, 7 years later, I was convinced my spams had returned, that somehow the sponge had slipped and my nerves had knotted themselves up again. My face was no longer my face, but a mask of trembling nerves threatening to mutiny. There was a glitch in the machine. Any second, a nerve could misfire and spams like a snaking hose hissing water. I thought about my face so much I could feel my nerves, and my nerves felt ticklish. The face is the most naked part of ourselves, but we don't realize it until the face is somehow injured, and then all we think of is its naked condition.
So much information. I love the little imagery she's trying to do. My face was no longer my face, but a mask of trembling nerves threatening to mutiny. Beautiful language, right? She's trying to compare her face like a mask or like a machine that's not working. What's going on with it? I feel different. I feel ticklish. I feel injured. My face is the most naked part. Emphasize on the importance of her face. Okay, Kevin.
My self-conscious habits return. I found elaborate ruses to hide my face in public, creating my cheek against my hand as if I was in constant dismay or looking away to quietly ponder a question about whether when all I could think of was my ticklish nerves that could at any second seize my face into a tick.
Self-conscious. That's important. Remember, self-conscious. That's going to be a reoccurring theme in the essay. We all get self-conscious about our stuff. We all get embarrassed. But what is about this she's so self-conscious about? Is it the tick? Is it this imaginary tick? What's going on? There was no tick. Okay, Sophia.
It was my mind-threatening mutiny. I was turning paranoid, obsessive. I wanted someone to unscrew my head and screw on a less neurotic head.
And Sophia, and then Sunny.
Thinking. My husband called my thinking. To try to fall asleep, I ingested whiskey, then whiskey was Ambien, Xanax, and weed.
Yes.
But nothing could make me sleep. When I could not sleep, I could not think. When I could not think, I could not write, nor I could socialize and carry on a conversation. I was a child again, the child who could not speak English.
Who could not speak English. At first, like, oh, she's a druggie, huh? She just can't. She took so much drug. What's going on? She started getting paranoid. She started having that relapse kind of thing. But then the child who could not speak English. Keep in mind, this is the Asian American author. So keep in mind this sentence, okay? So this is still like you see where I'm going with this? This is like a readerly experience. You go with the writer, you're like trying to figure out what the writer is going to talk to you about. And then Sophia. Sophia, I lived in
a beautiful stabilized loft on an unremarkable corridor of Lower Broadway, known for its retail jean stores that pumped out a wallpaper of Hot 97 hits. I was finally living the New York life I wanted. I was recently married and just finished writing a book. There was no reason for me to be depressed, but anytime I was happy, the fear of an awful catastrophe would follow. So I made myself feel awful to preempt the catastrophes hitting. Overtaxed by this anxiety, I sank into deep depression. A friend said that when she was depressed, she felt like a sloth that fell from its tree. An apt description. I was dull, depleted until I had to go out and interface with the public. And then I felt flayed.
Damn. Switched. What's going on? suddenly the narrative switched. Isn't it like a telling her mind, her thought process, and suddenly she's narrating about her past life. It's so much details about herself. She's a New Yorker now, and then she's a writer, of course. And then she's talking about her happy moments, but then she's talking about her anxiety again. And then I love the metaphors like sloth that fell from its tree. Okay, Sunny.
I decided to see a therapist to treat my depression. I wanted a Korean American therapist because I wouldn't have to explain myself as much. She'd look at me and just know where I was coming from. Out of the hundreds of New York therapists available on the Aetna database of mental health care providers, I found exactly one therapist with a Korean surname. I left a message for her and she called me back. We set up a consultation.
So what do you think? What do you think why she wants to see a Korean American? Anyone? Because she's Korean?
No, it's because they can treat with not much pain as other people.
Why is that? Why she can treat not as much pain as other people? Why is she different?
Because she just know what I was coming.
So it's because similar race, she's also Korean, that's why they can relate. Is that what it is? Is that what she's trying to say? What do you think, Sunny? Oh, I can you're muted.
I think it may be.
What do you think? What do you think she's trying to say?
I think she's just trying to say she really want to know why, like, her, like, she have the depression and the face and that thing.
But why do you think a Korean American therapist is gonna be the best fit?
Because so that she can explain why.
So other like Italian Americans, African Americans, they can't.
No, I mean, like, so the author doesn't have to explain, like, talk a lot about the pain. Like, she doesn't have to explain a lot what happened to her. That's all.
So a Korean American therapist is gonna relate more. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay, that's the interesting part we noticed. A race. That's first time the race. That's the second time. The first time is I could not speak English, but the second time where race came out. Why she wants to see a Korean American? What's going on? Why does the therapist has to be related to a race? Is it really about just like they can like more common language? Is that what this is really about? Let's find out. Kevin.
Her small, dimly lit waiting room had a framed Diego Rivera poster of a kneeling woman holding a giant basket of calla lilies. The whole room was furnished with Rivera's tranquilizing palette, the brown vase of cattails, the caramel leather armchair, a rug the color of dying coral.
A bunch of details. Sophia.
The therapist opened her door. The first thing I noticed was the size of her face. The therapist had an enormous face. I wondered if this was a problem for her, since Korean women are so self-conscious about the size of their faces that They will go under the knife to shave their jawlines down. A common Korean compliment. Your face is so small, it's the size of a fist. I went into her office and sat
Oh,
down.
wait, that's it. Thank you. So we're gonna talk about this. Interesting. The size of her face. Face. Why face? Why am I emphasizing on face? Anyone?
Because we're talking about the face problem.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about the tick earlier on. And then she started noticing other people's face. The size of her face. A Korean stereotype. And a Korean like a norm. It's basically like an Asian norm. How we don't want big face, stuff like that. So is she being, so I'm asking, is she being self-conscious about herself or the therapist or her whole Korean race? That's a question we're gonna ask about. You see, Han, the writer, she doesn't write anything that's like useless. Anything she write about contribute to part of what she's trying to tell. She just won't tell you straight away what she's trying to say, but she's gonna implicitly stuff it deep into her essays and let you feel. Because just like we say, each painting we see, like we have different interpretations of it. That's like every reader, there's like different interpretations of this essay. So you guys might think of a different way than I think. Okay, Sunny.
I went into her office and sat down on her couch. She told me she was going to begin with some standard consultation questions. The questions she asked were indeed standard. Was I hearing voices in my head? Have suicidal thoughts?
Suicidal, yes.
I was soothed by how standard these questions were, since it assured me that my depression was not, in fact, me, but a condition that was typical. I answered her consultation questions despondently. I might have even hammed up my despondency to prove to her and myself that I needed to be there. But when she asked, was there ever a time in childhood where you feel uncomfortable? I searched for a memory, and when I couldn't recall a time, I collapsed into sobs. I told her the beginning of everything, my depression, my family history, and when our consultation was over, I feel remarkable pleased. I told her I'd like to see her again.
A lot of going on. Therapy sessions going on. Is this a typical therapy session? Is this what this is really about? Is this what this really about? Is her depression really a typical depression? She felt comfortable after the session, right? She felt like, oh, this is working for her. But we'll see what's going on. Let's find out. Kevin.
I'm not sure I'm taking any more patients with Aetna, the therapist said neutrally. I'll contact you soon. The day later, I went ahead and called her office phone to set up another appointment. When I didn't hear from her after 24 hours, I left 2 more messages. The following day, she left a voicemail telling me she couldn't take me as a patient since she decided to stop taking Aetna in her insurance. I immediately called back and left my own voicemail explaining that Aetna will reimburse my 80% for all out-of-pocket costs She didn't return my call. Throughout the week, I left 4 more voicemails, each one more desperate than the last, begging for her cell number so we could text about this. Then I began to randomly call her and hang up when I got her machine, hoping to catch her between appointments. I did this half a dozen times per day until it dawned on me that she might very well have caller ID, which shamed me so badly I slept into bed and didn't come out for the rest of the day. Finally, she left another text message. It's a lot of paperwork for you to be reading, Bruce. I speed dialed her number and shouted her in the machine, I can handle the paperwork.
Oh, wow. A lot of emotions, information, huh? What's going on in this essay? Can anyone tell me? No, this paragraph. Sorry about it. What's going on in this paragraph? Kevin?
Like she's becoming so desperate to the point, like she just spam calling, like potentially could say stalking the therapist.
Why? Why though? Why? Why she's so desperately wanting?
Because yesterday, when she had like the session with her, she like felt so comfortable and like finally unwinded. But like now there's no, but now like she can't talk to her, and now she's like getting desperate.
We can feel the frustration, the anxiety she's trying to give throughout the essay. This is the kind of writing she's trying to let us feel. We feel how she feels. You know what I mean? That seems like a dependent question. That seems like a drug effect. The amount of obsession, the amount of addiction she has toward this therapist. She went out of her way to get another appointment. She did talk about drugs, and drugs are not helping with her depression. So is she replacing the therapy as her new addiction? Is the therapy her new drug? We're gonna find out. Okay, we'll see how our time goes, but I want to read a couple more pages, and we'll be done for today. And we'll be reading the whole essay, the whole passage throughout the 5 days. So don't worry. Okay, Sophia.
While I was waiting for her to call back, I had to attend a reading at the University of Wyoming in Laramie. At this point, I was severely depressed. It was a miracle that I managed to board a plane when all I wanted to do was cut my face off. As expected, the reading went badly. To recite my poems to an audience is to be slapped awake by my limitations. I confront the infinite chasm between the audience's conception of poet and the underwhelming evidence of me as the poet. I just don't look the part. Asians lack presence. Asians take up apologetic space. We don't even have enough presence to be considered real minorities. We're not racial enough to be token. We're so post-racial or silicone. I recited my poems in the kazoo that is my voice. After my reading, everyone rushed for the exit.
Boom. What's going on? What is going on? You can see there's a little like a star sign next to a paragraph. I kind of get the indication that this paragraph is actually like a signposting point, signposting technique. So she switched narrative again, talking about another trip to Wyoming. She's a pretty famous writer, so she's like doing this little speech with among other universities, like guest speaker. So someone tell me what's going on with this paragraph. Sophia?
Like she feels uncomfortable and like the audience just left. Because
What is, yeah, you're right. She's uncomfortable. But why uncomfortable? She did say why.
she
Which sentence?
thinks that Asians lack presence.
I just don't look the part. Look, appearances. What is appearances that we're talking about in the previous essays, previous paragraphs? Sunny?
They're talking about the people like ask for the therapist to like get her another appointment, and then it just jumped to the reading.
It's a sudden jump, right? Why is she doing this? Okay, Sunny, you pointed out interesting stuff. We're gonna talk about that later. The transition, the interesting transition, forcing the reader to transition, right? We're trying to figure out how this story ended. She did it again. She was talking about her depression, then the therapist, and suddenly she jumped to another story, right? But we're gonna talk about that later. Right now, we're gonna talk about why is she talking about experience? Why is she saying, I just don't look the part? What do you think, Kevin?
And she's so tired and just like, and she's like tired, she's desperate. She's been suffering for the past like years. She like just probably just also the looks just doesn't like really look that well. The appearance she does up, the first impressions, it's not that well.
That's interesting. Yes, like her overall look, like her showcasing, her presentation is not good enough. But what is the look that she's actually talking about? Like, she's discussing about her face tick, her face being a mutiny, right? Her face is like being self-conscious about her face. And then is she feeling self-conscious about her face right now? What is it related to? Can anyone tell me? Like, I think she say it pretty explicitly over here. I just don't look the part. Why she doesn't look the part? Anyone? Want to try again, Sunny? No? Sophia?
It looked very
Sunny?
confusing. It looked very confusing.
What did you say?
The passage, like the whole passage, is very confusing to me.
Very confusing? Yes, it is very confusing. That's first read for sure is kind of confusing. And then we're gonna go through this smoothly and how we're gonna figure this out. You have any ideas, Sophia? You did mention about Asians. Do you think that might be what she's trying to talk about? What do you think, Sophia?
Like maybe because she kind of does like comparisons.
Maybe what?
I said maybe since she does like comparisons and like silicone.
We're so post-racial, we're silicon. We're not racial enough to be token. We don't have even enough presence to be considered real minorities. Asians take up apologetic space. Asians lack presence. Are these just part of her poem, or are they what she's trying to say in this essay? Interesting. Like, she talked about the face in the previous paragraph, like how she feels like the face she's having right now the imaginary tic. She went to a therapy. She figured out that it's not an actual medical condition. It's an imaginary tic. It's in her mind. And why is it in her mind? What is the face that she's so disgusted about that she needs all the drugs she's taking that she cannot suppress it? She has to go see an Asian American, Korean American therapist. And then she get super addicted to it. And now she's talking about, I just don't look the part. Okay, Sunny.
I read the next paragraph.
Yes.
Okay. At the layover in the Denver airport on my way back to New York, I saw the therapist number on my phone. Eunice, I shouted into the phone. Eunice, what was it rude to call her by her first name, or should I have called Dr. Chow?
Dr. Chow.
Chow. I asked her when I could make my next appointment. Her voice was cold. Kathy, I appreciate your enthusiasm, she said, but it's best you find another therapist.
What's going on? Why?
The therapist contacted her and then told her that, oh, I'm not gonna take you.
Yeah, why she's being so cold? What's going on, right? We're trying to solve this murder mystery, huh? Like, she's not taking calls, she's ghosting her. This is basically like a classic ghosting situation. She wants to break up with her. Oh man, okay. Who's gonna read this? Kevin. I want your passion in this, like the first paragraph you read.
I handle the paperwork. I love paperwork. I can't be your therapist. Why not? We're not right for each other. I was shocked. Each pore in my skin sang with hurt. I had no idea that therapists could reject patients like this. Can you tell me why? I'm sorry, I cannot. You're not going to give me a reason? No. Why not? I am not allowed to reveal this information. Are you serious? Yes. Is it because I left too many voicemails? No, she said. Are you seeing someone I know? Not to my knowledge. Then it's because I'm too fucked up for you, isn't it? Of course not, she said.
Continue. There's a whole conversation.
Well, that's how I'm going to feel if you don't tell me why. You're making me feel like I should never open up and never share my feelings because I'm going to scare everyone away with my problems. Isn't this the opposite of what a therapist is supposed to do? I understand how you feel, she said blandly. If I do anything drastic after this phone call, it will be all your fault. This is your depression talking. It's me talking, I said. I have another patient waiting, she said. Don't F her up too, I said. Goodbye.
You can say fuck. No worries. I'm not a teacher. Don't worry.
Okay.
I want emotion in this.
Don't fuck her up too, I said. Goodbye.
Yeah, we can see the whole intense conversation going on around here. This almost feels like an insane relationship breakup call, isn't it? Like, she's like, why are you breaking up with me? What's going on? Why are you being so cold to me? Are you seeing anyone now? Are you seeing anyone new? And then she's getting dramatic. All the faces of the bad breakup, bad phone call breakup. Like, why? I'll do anything for you. We're right for each other. You're not gonna give me a reason why you don't love me anymore. Are you seeing anyone new? Is that how you're gonna make me feel? I'm gonna threaten you. I'm gonna blackmail you, and then he turned down and finally ended with anger and frustration. Interesting how she was able to have so much connection with this therapist by just one session, right? So much addiction, so much emotional going on. it feels like they have been in a relationship for at least a year, but this is just one session. So in a way, isn't it showing how drastic or how traumatic her depression is, right? We're still trying to figure out why is she having depression? What is this depression about, right? But by reading this, we can know that she's pretty fucked up. But why? I also have a question. Why is the therapist so cold? Do you guys want to guess? Why is this therapist just won't take it? Just like
I don't
being a whole
know.
person. You don't know? Yeah, I know. When I read this first, I don't even know either. This is like, why is she being so cold? She's not even talking like a regular human being. She's talking like an AI. I mean, even AI now have more emotions. You guys use ChatGPT? Yeah, no.
What?
It's like ChatGPT, which is like a new AI chatting kind of thing. You can search it up after class. Yeah. So this like very confusing, right? So we'll end today's reading part on this because we're gonna do some recap on what we talked about today. Okay. So we talked about how we're gonna start our essay, how we're gonna find our own scholarly problem, and then we each find something to write about. Sunny's gonna write about music, video games, right? Yeah. Okay. Are you muted, by the way? Basically, yes.
Sorry. Yeah, I think I might change.
Yeah, you can change. No worries. You can change, on Wednesday too, as long as you give me the essay, the draft by Thursday. Because on Thursday we're gonna do peer review, and on Friday we're gonna start working on how to finalize that essay, and then finishing the essay on Friday, and then potentially I'll teach you guys if we have time how to submit the essay to to opinion at op-ed, like an opinion editorial on a local or a national news source. Yes, you guys can get your papers published as 7th or 8th graders. Anyways, so what is your topic about? New topic. Sunny? Hello. What is your new topic about?
Mine?
Yes.
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, you want to switch it, but you want to switch to something else.
might.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I don't
okay.
know what.
Take your time, take your time. Kevin, you're still set on the color and emotion, psychology. Yeah, good. So what I would recommend for you to do research is next class, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna do scholarly research, so we can find our scholarly source. But right now we're doing brainstorming. So basically we're doing some simple article research. So these are the base source, like your statistic, your quotes, not the scholarly whole paraphrasing kind of stuff. Like your basic quotes, your basic citations, like the context source. There's different kind of source. Context source, opinion source, critical source. So what you're doing today is basically finding some opinion, critical source, context source. So what I would recommend for you, Kevin, is like, what is your problem again? How does color
how does
affect
color affect human emotions?
human emotions? Okay, good. What I would recommend for you is start researching color theory. That's one thing artists usually most, not even artists, like filmmakers, cinematography, color theory. How does color theory work? And why is color theory working? Why do we feel red as like angry or passionate, or can even sometimes be good or bad? How does that work? And then like when we see color, the RGB, or like the crimson, the light, the science part of it, like you can go into like some research on how our mind process color, how our mind process the image we see, stuff like that. And is it because of a stereotype or a history of color related to that specific stuff? Because like blood is red, that's why we assume anything red is come with violence, or like anger, or like death. Is that why we're using symbolism? Is that why? Or are we just like, actually it's a nature instinct? So what if our blood is blue, and will blue be the color that we fear, or we feel anger about? Is blue gonna be the one? So yeah, stuff like that. Just do some research on how other people think about this, so you can join the conversation. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you guys, young writers, join other people write about this for sure. All the topics you guys are thinking, questioning, want to write about, other people have already write about this. So what are you gonna do is join the conversation and do your own little take on this. What can you contribute to this conversation? Yeah, that's the important question. What can you contribute around this scholarly conversation? You guys are becoming your little own scholars. Yeah, by researching on this, you guys are very knowledgeable, right? Like Sophia said earlier in class, you guys are being knowledgeable on this certain part of this topic, and that you guys are becoming the little scholars to be able to write about this, join the conversation. Okay, Sophia, you're still working on the sea turtles?
Yes.
Yes, good. How environment's gonna change the sea turtles? Okay, what I'm gonna recommend you to do is climate change. That's a big thing. I research a lot on my essay about climate change. Actually, I recommend you to research about COP27, which is the global environmental conference. All the world leaders go there and talk about how each country is gonna be more environmental aware over the year. And yeah, just basically research on COP27, write that down. And then that's what the world leader is gonna say. It's basically like a context source for you, but you can research more on opinion source or critical source on how other people say about this. Is there like opposing side on your argument? Are there people saying, oh, sea turtles are fine, sea turtles are not the main concern we have right now, we have other valuable things to talk about, why are we caring about sea turtles, right? There's going to be people talking about this research on they be saying like, people are dying, our planet are dying, why are we caring a sea turtle? And then you can research on other opposing sides saying, oh, actually sea turtles are what actually they contribute more to the ecosystem. Actually, what's going on? Like, find your voice around the conversation. Research like how sea turtles migration history works throughout their history, like how they migrate from this place or that place. Where do they mostly habitat stay? Where is their habitat? And which kind of trash or like environmental waste are they contributing? That's the human are contributing that's gonna affect the seeders the most. And search for solutions. Basically, just like searching stuff that you're interested about and then brainstorming. And don't forget, each one of you have to find a source, not a source, exhibit, right? So for exhibit, it has to be closely related to your the problem you want to talk about, but it can expand upon it. You can expand upon that exhibit. Sunny, you still not sure? No?
I might still do
okay.
the video game thingy.
Still do video game music? Yeah. If you want to do the video game music, your exhibit can be a video game. It can be a video game that you like to play. Like, while I was playing this video game, you can be a personal narrative. The exhibit can be the specific video game you're playing, like how this music make you feel, how this music contribute to this game, and then you can expand upon the history of music scores for video games, the game of the year for scores on the video games. You can do a lot more research on also psychologically research on how humans process music while multitasking, right? It's basically multitasking. We're listening, we're playing, we're visually seeing stuff. It's all coming together. Scores is very important in video games. I play a lot, and then every time a game has a good score, goddamn, that's like you feel the emotion in the storytelling. So good. Today we're being pretty effective. We read about a Hong essay, United. It's called United. It's what do you think? What do you guys think about the reading we did today? What are your thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna go around, but basically answer these questions. Your thoughts on the readings we did. What do you think is gonna happen next? And then what do you think she's trying to tell the reader? And why is she using all these techniques? The techniques, well, we mentioned switching narrative. She switched from personal telling the story suddenly into another story. Like she's talking about her therapist, and then suddenly, boom, she jumped into her New York. She's having a little speech, a guest speaker at the university talking about race, huh? And then she suddenly jumped back into a intense conversation with her therapist. So this jump of narrative, switch, transition of shift narrative is one technique she used. And then personal stories, one technique she used. Metaphor, similes, those kind of basic shit. And also one of the important stuff she did mention is the like intense conversation. How does that work as a technique? Okay. How do you feel about the essay? What do you think is gonna happen next? What do you think she's trying to say about this? What is her point? Like, what is she trying to say? And then why is she using all these techniques? Okay, Sunny, go first.
The story was kind of interesting, but the story is kind of interesting, but it's a bit confusing to read.
Bit confusing to read. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how you feel.
And
what do you think is gonna happen next?
I think what will happen next is like she will have some struggles with her therapist, or she'll give up.
She's gonna give up. Do you think she's gonna give up?
No, but because she doesn't seem like a person that will give up easily.
Yeah, she's very stubborn. Yeah.
Wait, what is the next thing again?
The next question is, what do you think Kathy Hunt is trying to tell the reader by telling this whole story?
I don't know, because usually how does a story goes is like you don't, and then the last they're gonna conclude like you don't need to care how other people think of you, just be yourself. But like from what we're reading the story, it seems like she care a lot about it, and other people also care a lot about like how like her facial expression is, and other stuff like her depression, that stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe last she'll tell us that, oh, this depression is what I just think about. It's not what really happened. You just gotta believe in yourself. That's a lot of story was trying to code us.
Yeah, it's a lot of information and we still don't know what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
With more information, we're gonna find out more. She's gonna be, I'll say, more explicit later on. Right now, it's like drawing the reader into her personal narratives. But yeah, it's good. Okay, final question. What do you think about the techniques she used? Like the way she transitioned, the way she write her essay, the style of the essay, the quotes, the question marks, the conversations.
I think it's very brilliant.
Brilliant?
Yes. Like how she writes, start with like the tick, and then in the middle, like she go join a reading thing in a university, and just in between, I think she meant to do, like she meant to get our attention, the reader's attention, and go by what she think, like she want us to think.
Yeah, readerly based experience. Yes. You like it? Feels like a whole, feels like a whole journey, huh? Whole roller coaster cycle with this essay. There's gonna be a lot more drama later on. This is just nothing. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, Kevin. Your turn. Okay, first, what do you think the essay is? What do you feel about the essay right now?
It's fine. Like, I think it's so we just had a brainstormer today, like just plan out like the whole like what we're gonna do and research.
Oh, you're asking about the homework?
Oh, that's the homework.
Basically, today is brainstorming. The homework. Brainstorming, find exhibit. That's the main part of your homework. Find the exhibit, brainstorm your scholarly problem. Sunny, if you're not sure, then you can think more about your scholarly problem. But if you, for the two of you guys that are sure about this, then yeah, commit to it, do more research. Just today is not about heavy research, more like stuff I talk about, like light research, critical source, context. This stuff you're interested about, and then brainstorm.
Can I have like an exhibit in mind? Like, I already have it like it's exhibit in mind.
Is it what?
Like an exhibit?
Exhibit, yes. You need to find exhibit.
I already have one.
Have one?
Yeah, I haven't that I have in mind. I'm gonna see if it works. Like,
okay, tell me about it. I'll hear about it.
It's like have you heard of like Omori?
Omori?
Is it a video game? Like it has the use of color and like mood and tone. It really like the use of color and music really fits together, and like it creates the mood. It can shift from like really disturbing, like actually like horrifying imagery to like the most cheerful, like the most cheerful place you can find in a video game.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I would like to read that essay. That's gonna be an interesting read. Okay, you gotta expand your essay, asking more questions upon that, not just specifically talking about this. This is just your base. Your exhibit is just your base. You build your argument, you build your take, you build your scholarly conversation upon that. Okay, good. We're a bit tight on time, so Kevin, just like give us some quick opinions about the readings we did today.
I think like the author is trying to indirectly like characterize like the main character, and also like to teach us like the themes, something like about like just about like inner self, like depression, some like the topics.
Yeah. More? That's it?
Like from what we can see, like the character, she has been struggling from like this issue for many years, and it has not been doing well. And
Is the physical tick she's struggling from, or the imaginary tick?
imaginary.
Struggling. Imaginary.
So like at this point, like we can see that she is desperate enough to literally go to extreme measures, like drugs, and to like kind of stalking and spamming. Like she's willing to go to extreme measures to cope with her like illness.
Yeah, like an abusive, toxic ex-girlfriend, huh?
Yeah.
Such a red flag. Anyways, we still don't know what is this imaginary tick, or do we? Do you know or no?
Not really.
Not sure. Yeah, we'll figure out next class. No worries. Techniques. I do want to know if how you liking the techniques she's using, the style of writing, the imagery, the metaphors, the transitions, the shift, like Sunny mentioned.
I think it's like very very intriguing. Like it shows a lot about like her surroundings, and then it contrasts with how she feels, like especially in the therapist room. It shows a calming, like it describes a calming environment, but like in the next, but we know that her inside is a scrambled mess. It really contrasts.
How's your readerly experience?
That was a nice read.
That was a nice read.
Yeah,
a bit confused.
Ready to read more.
Ready to read more. Excited. Okay. Good. Sophia? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about techniques? And what do you think is going to happen next?
I really like the sloth from a tree. That was really nice.
Yeah.
And then
very beautiful.
I think either the therapist is gonna get annoyed a lot more, or like she's gonna find a different therapist, but I feel like she's not gonna like just give up because she had a good experience with her.
That's true. What do you feel about the technique? Writing.
I was triggered by the F word.
It's a very casual personal essay, so it's like fun to read. Not too fun because like you get confused, but it's like interesting to read.
Like I feel like the way that the author expresses their ideas is kind of like confusing and hard to understand, but like it also makes you kind of excited to read more of it.
Yeah, it's intentionally making you guys confused. She's not a bad writer. She's not writing this because she can't write. She did this purposefully to make you guys confused. Ask questions, right? Like readerly based questions. I'm gonna tell you this. What your essay is about is asking questions, like I said in the beginning of class, like knowledgeable ignorance. We're asking questions just like we're readers. We're confused. What's gonna happen next? So I'm gonna foreshadow what you're gonna write about. Like when you're writing your essays, You're not gonna tell readers what's going on. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna be like Kathy Parkon. You're gonna keep engaging the readers, make them ask questions. Don't tell them the answer. Never tell them that. Let them keep asking the question. And maybe we'll figure that. Maybe we'll understand what she's trying to talk about by the end of the 5-day class, okay? All right, great session today. Nice meeting you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to do your homework. It's light research. Today is the most chill day. Yes.
I have a question.
Sunny.
What is our
Yeah.
homework again?
So find your scholarly problems if you not set on one, and then find your exhibit. And after finding your exhibit, base your problems upon it. And do light research, context source, critical source, stuff like that. Yes.
For the exhibit, do you mean like we have to research stuff?
Huh?
For like, what do you mean by we have to do the exhibit?
So exhibit is did you remember my sunflower example? Like my
No.
essay,
Oh,
my
yeah.
exhibit is a sunflower vandalization piece,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's basically a source where you base your question from. Like after telling the readers your exhibit, you and the reader both start asking questions, both start engaging, and that's like the base source for your whole essay. You don't specifically just talk about that exhibit. You
So where do
surround
I
your essay
get my
upon it.
essay from?
Hmm?
So the exhibit is basically where do we get our like question from? Where do we start the
Yeah,
essay?
you can say that. You can say that, but your exhibit doesn't have to be specifically about that. It can be how you can, however you want to write about it. It's okay, but exhibit is basically the start of the essay, where you like, boom, you give this thing, people have the context, and then you start asking questions around this exhibit, and then you start building your opinions, your take upon that, and then start introducing other sources, introducing other scholarly sources. Yes. Sophia, any questions?
Like, can the exhibit be a website?
Like for you, like you can talk about your experience with this website, like how you visit this website, how this website has so much information, how this, is that what you're trying to say? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, good. Yes, it can be a website. Okay, next class, we're gonna view your problems, view your exhibit, and I'm gonna introduce you. Yes, it can be a game, of course. It can be a game, of course. It can be anything. And then next class, just let you guys know, we're gonna talk, review your exhibit, review your brainstorm ideas. And then we're gonna talk about how are we gonna structure your essay. Next class is about structuring. And the next class is gonna be about how to implement your scholarly sources. And then we're gonna do peer review and the final drafts and publishing. Okay, good talk, guys. Good sesh. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.